I was 2 years old when my mother died, but I swear I still remember the silence. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that swallows a house whole. The kind that makes you afraid to breathe too loudly. People filled our house that day, crying, whispering, touching my cheeks like I was a pity project. But no one carried me the way she used to. No one said, "Alero, come here, my baby," the way her voice did. That night I realized something. When the person who loves you most closes their eyes forever, the world becomes a place you don't recognize. I didn't know it yet, but this silence was only the beginning. That night I heard my father talking to someone in the dark, someone who would change my life in ways I could never imagine. People don't talk about how loud grief is. How everybody suddenly becomes an advisor, a judge, or a marriage committee. A child needs a woman in the house. Toju, don't waste time, marry again. That girl is too small, she needs a mother figure. They said it every day until my father started shaking at night. He would stare at my mother's picture like it was scolding him. I didn't understand their pressure, but I understood one thing clearly. My mother's absence made me a burden. One evening, while I pretended to sleep, I heard my aunt whisper, "Essie is still single, she was her best friend, she can take over." Essie. I didn't know that name yet. But soon I would never forget it. The next morning my father brought a woman into the house, smiling too much, talking too softly like she already belonged. Essie smelled like powder and lies. But at 2 years old I didn't know what lies were. All I saw was a woman bending down, stretching her arms toward me. "Alera, my baby," she said. Baby. She wasn't my mother. But she held me like she wanted the world to believe she was. She cooked, she cleaned, she played with me. People loved her instantly. A good woman. She will care for the child well. Your late wife must be smiling. She fooled them all, including my father. For 1 year she treated me like a fragile treasure. But love that isn't real always has an expiry date. Everything changed the day she showed my father a pregnancy test and whispered, "You're going to be a father again." When Essie got pregnant, I disappeared. Not literally, but in the way a child can be alive and still not exist. She stopped playing with me. Stopped hugging me. Stopped calling me my baby. I became Alero. Just Alero. The girl she tolerated because she had no choice. By the time she gave birth to her daughter, Temison, the house wasn't mine anymore. Everything revolved around the new baby, the one with soft cheeks and big eyes and a mother who adored her. If I cried, she ignored me. If Temison sneezed, she called the whole street. My father tried to soothe me, but he was already losing the battle. Essie ran that house. Completely. I didn't know the level of danger I was in, until the first time Essie slapped me and smiled afterward. I was 4 when Essie slapped me for the first time. Not the kind of slap you give a naughty child. This one was full force, like she'd been waiting for a reason. All I did was spill pap on the floor. My ears rang, my vision blurred. But what broke me wasn't the slap. It was the smile that followed it. "Be careful next time," she said sweetly, as if she hadn't just knocked the innocence out of me. From that day, every mistake became an opportunity. She slapped, pinched, twisted my ears. And if my father walked in, she switched to tears. "Toju, I'm doing my best, this girl is stubborn." He believed her. Every single time. Things got worse when Temison learned how to talk and discovered the power of lies. Temison grew into the kind of child who believed the world owed her everything. And why wouldn't she? Her mother worshipped her. My father spoiled her to avoid conflict. And me. I was the punching bag of the household. If Temison broke something, she pointed at me. "Mummy, Alero did it." If she wanted my food, she screamed until Essie collected my plate and handed it to her. If she fell even by herself, Essie dragged me by the hair. "You want to kill my daughter." Temison laughed every time. At 5 years old, she had mastered cruelty. One night, my father came home tired and Temison ran to him crying. Daddy Alero pushed me. I was in the kitchen washing plates, nowhere near her. But the look in my father's eyes told me something heartbreaking. He didn't believe me, even when the truth was obvious. That week, Essay decided to send me away, but not in the way normal people send children away. Essay told my father I was becoming a problem. That I needed training. That the village would reset me. I wasn't even 10, and she wanted to ship me off like used furniture. My father resisted at first, but she cried. Oh, she cried. You don't want peace in this house. Temison is suffering because of her. My father crumbled. He always crumbled. They packed my things, put me in the car, drove me halfway to the village. Then Essay's phone rang. What, are you sure? Her face changed. We're going back, she snapped at my father. Apparently, the woman she wanted to dump me with had travelled unexpectedly. That day I understood something frightening. Essay didn't want me disciplined. She wanted me gone. By any means. And just when I thought I'd survive her hatred, she discovered something new to use against me, my education. School was my escape. My only escape. I studied like my life depended on it, because in a way it did. I passed every exam. Teachers loved me. I became the kind of student people expected great things from. At 16, I passed JAM on the first try. I ran home excited, breathless, clutching the result tightly. Mummy, Essay, I passed, I said, because calling her Mama had been beaten out of me. She didn't smile. She didn't congratulate me. Instead, she asked, what about Temison? Temison hadn't even written JAM. But that didn't matter. You will wait until she finishes school, Essay said flatly. You both must go together. It felt like someone kicked me in the chest. I passed, I whispered. What did I do wrong? You were too fast, she said. Slow down. And just like that, my dream froze. I didn't know it yet, but that delay was the trap Essay needed to set up the darkest plan of my life. Waiting 1 year wouldn't have killed me. But living 1 year under Essay's control almost did. Every morning started with chores before school. Every night ended with Temison mocking me. Alero, when will you go to university? Oh, wait when I'm ready. Essay made sure I never forgot my place. If I asked for food, she reminded me I was old enough to manage. If I complained, she reminded me. You're lucky we even kept you. My father pretended not to hear anything. He became a shadow, silent, scared, and controlled by the woman he married. But I kept telling myself, 1 year, just 1 year, and I'll be free. Except Temison wasn't going to let me go. She had a failure planned for all of us. Temison sat for JAM the following year. She didn't read. Didn't care. Didn't even take the exam seriously. The result came out. She failed. Badly. I congratulated her politely and she hissed. Don't worry, Mummy will fix it. But Essay didn't fix it. She punished me for it. You will wait again, she said. You cannot go without your sister. What kind of wicked child are you? I begged. I cried. I knelt. She didn't blink. You are not leaving this house until Temison is ready. Just like that, another year of my life vanished, stolen by a girl who didn't even want what I wanted. Temison smirked at me for days. She enjoyed it. She truly enjoyed holding my future hostage. When I couldn't take it anymore, I confronted my father, and what he said nearly broke me beyond repair. I walked into my father's room one night. He was sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at nothing. Daddy, please. My voice shook. I passed twice. Why are you letting her stop me? He didn't look at me. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he whispered, Alero, let there be peace in this house. Peace? Was that what he called my suffering? I grabbed his hand. Daddy, I am your daughter. Essay opened the door like she had been listening all along. Her voice sliced through the room. And I am your wife. She looked at my father. You choose her. He didn't choose me. He looked down at the floor like a guilty child. That night I realized I was truly on my own. But fate doesn't stay silent forever. Sometimes it speaks through something as simple as new clothes. A week before resumption, Essay came home with shopping bags. Smiling. Acting warm again. Pretending like the last few years never happened. Alero, I bought clothes for school, she said softly. I froze. She had never bought me anything except pain. She pulled out dresses, skirts, shoes. Pretty things that didn't match her character. Then she held up a blue gown. A very specific blue gown. This one is for you, she said almost too sweetly. Wear it well in school, you need to shine. Temerson's face tightened instantly. She wanted that gown. She was angry Essay gave it to me. I should have been excited. But something about the gown felt wrong. Too deliberate. Too emphasized. Too planned. Essay placed it in my hands and whispered. This one is special. I didn't know yet, but that blue gown was not a gift. It was a set-up. I took the blue gown to my room, still trying to understand why Essay suddenly cared how I looked. I barely sat down before Temerson barged in. Give me that dress. I held it tighter. Mummy, Essay said it's mine. Temerson's eyes narrowed, the same eyes her mother used when she was about to do something wicked. Everything in this house belongs to me, she snapped. She tried to grab it, but I stepped back. I didn't want to fight, but the gown felt too suspicious to let go of. Temerson hissed and stormed out. Minutes later, Essay called me. Alero, that gown's. She paused like she was choosing her words. Keep it safe, wear it on Monday. Why Monday? Why that dress? Why the emphasis? Nothing about it felt normal. That night I overheard Essay whispering on the phone, and my name came up in a way that made my blood run cold. Essay's room door was half open. Her voice drifted into the hallway. Yes, Monday. A pause. She must wear the blue dress. Another pause. No, she won't suspect anything. She's desperate to go to school. My heart dropped so fast I almost collapsed. Dress. Monday. Me. Who was she talking to? Why was she insisting I wore that exact gown? I pressed closer to the door, my hands shook. Yes, she'll leave the house alone, don't worry, I'll send her. Essay laughed softly. A laugh that didn't belong to a human being. I ran back to my room, breathing hard. I didn't sleep. Not even for a minute. Something terrible was brewing, and it had my name written all over it. But even with everything I suspected, I didn't expect the next morning to feel like the calm before a storm. Essay woke up unusually early. Cooking, singing, smiling at me like she was preparing for a celebration. Alero, come and eat, she said. Her voice had sweetness where poison lived. She watched me too closely. Checked her phone too many times. Kept glancing at the blue gown folded on my bed. Temerson kept staring at the dress too, jealousy eating her alive. I tried to act normal, but my stomach was in knots. After breakfast, Essay came into my room and said, Wear the blue gown on Monday, don't disappoint me. Her eyes held something dangerous, like she wasn't asking, she was threatening. I nodded slowly, okay, Ma. But deep down, I wasn't sure if I would wear it. 2 days before Monday, Essay made a move that forced the story into motion, and ripped away any choice I thought I had. Essay left the house around 7 a.m. 2 hours later, my phone rang. Alero, she said, voice soft and urgent. Come to Mrs. Bowow's house. Bring the items I told you about, and wear the blue gown, I want to see how it fits. My heart started pounding. Mummy, Essay, I want to wear it to school. I said wear it now, she snapped. I will buy another one, don't argue with me. Her tone wasn't motherly. It was the tone of someone who needed something to happen exactly a certain way. I hung up slowly, my mind racing. That was when Temison walked into my room, eyes locked on the gown like it belonged to her soul. "I'm following you," she said. Before I could stop her, she grabbed the gown and pulled it over her head. I screamed. I fought. She pushed me aside. "I'm wearing it, and you can't do anything about it." She stormed out of the room, wearing the same blue dress her mother had tried so hard to force on me. I didn't know it yet, but Temison had just stepped into a danger meant for me, and there was no turning back. We walked down to the end of the street. Temison was still bragging in the blue gown. The black car suddenly rolled forward. 2 men jumped out. Before we could scream, they grabbed us. "Leave me," I shouted. "Take her, she's the one," Temison screamed, thinking it was a robbery. Inside the car, the men argued. "Which one?" "The one in blue, idiot, that's what Madam said." My heart stopped. Madam said, "Someone called the kidnappers." The man answered angrily, "Yes, we took 2 because both were standing together." The voice on the phone yelled so loud I heard it clearly. I said blue dress, only blue. Immediately, the men shoved me out of the moving car. I hit the ground hard, rolling. The car sped off, with Temison screaming inside. And all I could think was one thing. Mama Temison didn't buy me a gift. She marked a target. As I lay on the ground bleeding, Essay's number flashed on my phone. She was calling. My hands were shaking as Essay's name flashed on my screen. I picked up, still lying on the ground. "Mummy," I whispered. Her voice came sharp and nervous. "Alara, where are you? Why aren't you here? I told you to hurry." She wasn't asking because she cared. She was asking because something was wrong. With her plans. I fell, I stammered. Before I finished, she cut the call. 2 minutes later, she called again. "Did you wear the blue dress?" she demanded. No, Temison wore it. The silence on the line was so long, I thought the call had dropped. Then she screamed. A sound I had never heard from her before. It wasn't fear. It was rage. Panic. Loss. "Alara, where is Temison?" I didn't even know how to answer. Because Essay hung up before I could speak. And my father's number started calling non-stop. Baba called me 6 times. When I finally answered, he was shouting and panting. "Alara, where are you? Your stepmother is running around the compound like she's mad." I was pushed out of a car, they took Temison. "What?" His voice cracked like glass. I heard people shouting in the background. Neighbors running. Doors banging. Then I heard Essay screaming my name. "Alara, come home now." My father whispered, voice trembling. "Please don't come yet, something is not right." For the first time in my life, Baba sounded like a man. Not Essay's puppet. Before I could reply, he whispered something that made my heart freeze. "I think Essay planned something very bad, and it went wrong." I limped home slowly, terrified. When I reached our gate, I saw something shocking. Essay was kneeling on the floor, slapping her thighs and screaming Temison's name. Women from the street surrounded her. Baba was packing. The moment Essay saw me, she ran toward me like a wild animal. "Alara, where is my child?" I stepped back. "I don't know, they grabbed us both, but they threw me out." Essay grabbed my shoulders, shaking me so hard my teeth rattled. "Did you tell her to wear that dress, did you?" "Mummy, don't call me that." Baba pulled her away. "Essay, stop, she is injured." Essay fell to her knees again, wailing. "They took the wrong girl, oh God, they took the wrong girl." Right then, a neighbor whispered loud enough for everyone to hear. "Why would kidnappers come for a specific dress? Something is not adding up." Everyone turned and stared at Essay. Essay's eyes widened when she heard the neighbor's comment. She forced a laugh, shaky fake. "You people should stop thinking nonsense, they were armed robbers." But nobody bought it. Her panic was too loud. Her tears were too sudden. I sat quietly on a stool watching her. In that moment, I realized something brutal. She wasn't crying because Temison was gone. She was crying because her plan failed. My auntie from the next street stormed in. "What is this I'm hearing? Alara was almost kidnapped. Temison is missing." Baba explained everything. Auntie's face grew stiff. She asked Essay quietly, "How did the kidnappers know which child to pick?" Essay couldn't answer. Her hands shook so much she hid them in her wrapper. Then Auntie turned to me and said, "Alara, what exactly did Essay tell you this morning?" Essay's head snapped up like she'd been electrocuted. Everyone stared at me. Essay's breathing changed, fast and sharp. I swallowed hard. She told me to wear the blue dress she bought. Essay jumped. "That's a lie." I continued. "She insisted I wear it." She sounded angry on the phone when I refused. Women in the compound gasped. "A dress, is that how kidnappers identify victims?" Essay pointed at me like she wanted to scratch my face. "You're twisting my words. Why would I call kidnappers?" Nobody accused her. But nobody defended her either. Not even Baba. He stared at her for a long, painful moment. "Essay, why did you want Alero to wear a specific dress?" Essay's lips trembled. She couldn't speak. She couldn't even blink. And that silence said more than any confession. My phone vibrated quietly in my pocket. A message from a hidden number. "We have the girl you sent." My hands trembled as I opened the text message. "We have the girl you sent." I froze. My mouth went dry. I felt the whole world tilt. Essay noticed instantly. "What's on your phone? Show me." I stepped back. "No." Baba's voice was firm for once. Alero read it out. I swallowed. "It says we have the girl you sent." People gasped. Essay screamed, "It's a lie, they are tricking her." Auntie snatched the phone from my hand and read it twice. Then she looked at Essay slowly, like she was seeing her for the first time. "Essay, explain this." Essay fell on her knees and grabbed Baba's feet. "Toju, they are setting me up, I didn't send anybody." But Baba didn't touch her. He just stared with empty eyes. The phone buzzed again. A video message. Of Temison tied to a chair, crying. The compound went silent. We all huddled around as Auntie pressed play. Temison's face appeared. Swollen. Terrified. Begging. "Mummy, please, they said you should send their balance. They said if you don't." The screen went black. Essay collapsed. My child, my child." "So they called you?" a neighbor asked. "So you know these people," another added. Essay shook her head violently. No, they forced her to say that." But her voice cracked. Her lie was shaking. Her soul was trembling. Baba suddenly grabbed her arm. "Essay, if you don't talk now, something worse will happen. What did you do?" Essay broke down, sobbing without sound. But still, no confession. Just then my phone rang again. Same hidden number. And the voice on the other end said, "Madam, if you don't send the balance in 2 hours, the girl dies." Essay snatched the phone from my hand. She shouted into the receiver, "Please don't hurt her, I will pay, I will pay." Everyone froze. There it was. The slip. The admission. Baba's face turned grey. "You will pay, meaning you owe them." Essay covered her mouth. She looked trapped. Cornered. Exposed. The kidnapper hung up. Auntie grabbed Essay by the wrapper. "You sold Alero, you sold her. For what money? Jealousy." Essay screamed. "I didn't mean for Temison to be taken. It was supposed to be Alero." Silence. Total silence. Baba staggered backwards like he'd been shot. I felt cold all over. My knees shook. Essay tried to run to me. Alero, forgive me, I didn't want to kill you, just teach you a lesson. Teach me a lesson, I whispered. For existing. Essay wailed. But no one touched her. No one comforted her. Then Baba said something that made Essay freeze completely. You will call them back, and you will tell them the truth. Baba forced Essay to sit in the living room. Neighbors blocked the door. She was shaking uncontrollably. He dialed the hidden number and put the phone on speaker. The kidnapper picked. Where is our balance? He growled. Baba spoke first. She doesn't owe you anything, you took the wrong child. The kidnapper hissed. Are you mad? Your woman sent us her picture, blue dress. Essa cried, it was supposed to be a Lero, she didn't wear it. I felt my heart sink. This woman hated me enough to risk my life. The kidnapper sighed. So what do you want to do now? We can exchange, but you will pay double. Essay fainted instantly, just slumped to the floor. Baba stared at her like she was a stranger. Neighbors rushed to revive her. But I sat still. Very still. Because the kidnapper sent one last text immediately after the call. If you don't bring the real girl in 2 hours, we finish the one we have. The compound erupted into chaos. People shouting. Children crying. Women praying. Essay woke up screaming. No, no, don't take Alero, take me instead. But the kidnappers didn't want her. They wanted me. Baba held my hand tightly. You're not going anywhere, over my dead body. Auntie added. They must think we're fools, call the police. But another neighbor warned. If you call police and they notice, they may kill the girl immediately. The fear was suffocating. Essay crawled to me on her knees. Please, Alero, help me save my child, I beg you. Her tears fell on my feet. But I felt nothing. Nothing at all. For the first time in my life she needed me. And for the first time I had power. But before anyone could decide what to do, a voice behind us said, She won't need to go, we already know where the kidnappers are. Everyone turned. It was a man I had never seen before. He stood at the doorway, tall, calm, and dressed like someone who didn't belong in our chaotic compound. Nobody recognized him. Who are you? Baba asked, shielding me with his arm. The man lifted a small ID card. My name is Inspector Onahi. We've been monitoring a kidnapping ring in this area for months. S.A. stumbled backwards. They called me, they wanted the balance. He ignored her. Instead, he looked directly at me. You were the intended target, not the girl they took. My stomach twisted. He said it too easily. Too confidently. How do you know that? I whispered. Inspector Onahi pulled out a small notebook. Because your stepmother contacted them using her real phone number. She's not a criminal. She's just foolish. S.A. fell to the floor again, screaming. The inspector closed the notebook and said, And now, because of her foolishness, we don't have much time to save Temison. The inspector checked his watch. We have 1 hour, 40 minutes left. My chest tightened. S.A. grabbed his ankle, crying. Please save my daughter, please, I didn't mean. He pulled his leg away gently. You don't have the luxury to explain intentions now. He turned to me again. Alaire, I need you to tell me exactly what she told you this morning. I repeated everything. The call, the blue dress, the insistence. The inspector nodded. That confirms it. They were positioned on your street waiting for you. People gasped. Even Baba shivered. But why? I whispered. Why me? The inspector didn't answer. Instead he said, Right now what matters is that we move. Alero, you're coming with us. The compound erupted. No, she's a child. They'll take her again. But the inspector raised a hand. She's not bait, she's the only one who saw the men closely. He pointed to a police van outside the gate. Either she helps us or Temison dies tonight. I sat in the back of the police van, heart hammering like a drum. Baba insisted on coming, so did Auntie. S.A. tried to follow, but the inspector blocked her. "You've done enough, stay home." Her scream echoed behind us as we drove off. Inside the van, the inspector spread photos across his lap. "Do you recognize any of these men?" My hands shook as I scanned the pictures. Then I saw one. My blood turned to ice. "That's him, the one who grabbed Temison." The inspector nodded slowly. "Good, we're close." We drove out of town, past the main market, past the dusty outskirts. The sky grew darker. The road grew quieter. My fear grew heavier. Baba held my hand tightly. "My daughter, nothing will happen to you." His voice cracked. Maybe for the first time in my life, he sounded like my father. Just then, the van stopped abruptly. The inspector said quietly, "We're here." But all I saw outside was an abandoned warehouse. The warehouse looked dead, but the tension in the air felt alive. Police officers surrounded the building silently. Guns drawn. Steps light. The inspector turned to me. "Alara, stay behind me. If you see the man again, do not shout," tap my arm. My legs felt like jelly. But I nodded. They pushed the door open. A long, dark corridor. Smell of dust. Sound of water dripping. We moved in slowly, flashlight beams slicing through the darkness. Then I heard it. A voice. Faint. Shaking. "Please, please let me go." "Temison." My heart raced. She was close. The inspector signaled the others. They spread out. Guns ready. Then a shadow moved behind one of the metal pillars. The same man from the car stepped out, holding a gun. The man's eyes widened when he saw me. How did you get here? We threw you out." The inspector stepped in front of me. "Drop your weapon." The man sneered. "You think I care about your uniform? I have nothing to lose." He pointed the gun directly at me. Because he recognized me. Because I was the one they wanted. My breath stopped. Baba shouted, "Please leave my child alone." The man laughed. "Funny, your woman said the same thing after she paid us to take her." Ashley. Her name strung like fire. The inspector moved slowly to the side, trying to distract him. But the man stepped closer. 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 I tapped the inspector's arm, just like he told me. In one swift move, he tackled the kidnapper. Gunshots rang. Screams echoed. I dropped to the floor, covering my ears. And in the chaos, someone grabbed my hand from the darkness. A tiny, shaking hand. Temison's. I held her small, trembling body against mine. Her tears soaked my shoulder. I'm sorry, Alero," she whispered. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to punch S.A. I wanted to cry for the years stolen from me. But right now, she was alive. And that mattered. The inspector pushed us both back. "Stay close," he said. "Don't move an inch." Baba knelt beside me. "You're safe now," he said. His voice cracked, and for the first time it sounded real. S.A. was on the floor, bawling, shaking. Her power was gone. Her schemes shattered. But before I could breathe, the kidnapper groaned and moved, still alive. And he wasn't done yet. S.A. crawled to her feet, still screaming. "I can fix this, I can make them go." Baba grabbed her again. "No, you've done enough." I watched her face, twisted, desperate. "I didn't mean for this, I just wanted her scared. I didn't want her dead." Her eyes landed on Temison. "She's mine, my daughter, you can't keep her." I wanted to laugh in disbelief. She sold me to protect Temison. I gritted my teeth. "Why not sell Temison if you loved her so much?" I whispered under my breath. Baba didn't answer. He just shook his head, ashamed. Suddenly, S.A. screamed again. I know who helped her survive. Everyone froze. What are you talking about? Baba demanded. S.A. pointed shakily at me. Alero, she was meant to be gone, but someone intervened, someone protected her. I felt my stomach twist. I knew she was talking about myself. No, I hadn't done anything yet. The inspector stepped closer. Who? He asked sharply. S.A.'s lips trembled. My friend, a neighbor, someone who noticed my plan. Baba's face went pale. He whispered, looking at me. She could have been you. I shook my head. But the realization burned hot. My survival wasn't just luck. S.A. had underestimated the world. And just when I thought the nightmare was ending, the kidnapper pulled himself up again. The man dragged himself toward the exit. Gun still in hand. The inspector shouted. Freeze. He didn't. I stepped forward, shaking but determined. You picked the wrong girl, I said. Not me, Temison, not anymore. The man's eyes widened. He faltered. That hesitation was all we needed. A bullet fired. He collapsed to the ground. I stared at him, the man who had tried to kill me for a blue dress, and realized how close I'd come to death. S.A. screamed behind me, realizing her plan had completely failed. Baba gripped my shoulders tightly, almost crushing me with relief. And then S.A.'s phone rang. The caller ID made my blood freeze. It was her contact, the one who had helped orchestrate everything from the shadows. S.A. answered trembling, tears streaking her face. Yes, it's done, but she survived. Baba ripped the phone from her hand. Who are you calling? Who is behind this? S.A. stammered. It was supposed to be a lesson, only a scare. The people, they said they would only follow instructions. The inspector stepped forward. This is your final chance, S.A. Confess everything from the start. She broke down completely. I planned it. I sold Alero. I wanted her scared, delayed, humiliated. I didn't mean Temison to get kidnapped. I just wanted her gone for a while. The words hit me like a hammer. She had planned my kidnapping. And Temison had taken my place by sheer accident. Baba's face went pale. This cannot be true. I didn't speak. I just stood there, trembling with rage, watching the woman who had ruined my childhood collapse in front of everyone. The inspector turned to me quietly. Alero, now you get to decide what happens next. I stood silently, my fists clenched. S.A. had caused me endless pain, delayed my dreams, and nearly gotten me killed. Baba begged. Alero, don't be cruel, she's your stepmother. I looked at him. She is not my mother, she is a criminal. The inspector leaned closer. This is your chance to take control, you decide what happens. I swallowed hard, fury boiling. I want everything she did to me to be known. S.A.'s eyes widened. No, please, I was pressured. I shook my head. The years of waiting, the lies, the schemes, it ends now. And as S.A.'s screams filled the compound, I realized something else. Temison had her own secret to reveal. Temison stepped forward, trembling. The layer of eyes. Her voice shook. I was scared. I didn't know what to do when they grabbed me, but I didn't want you hurt. I looked at her. She had been my rival for so long, the obstacle S.A. used to control me. I know, I whispered. You survived because I wanted to protect you. Baba stared, mouth agape. S.A.'s jaw dropped. She was brave, I said softly. I couldn't even see it then, but she didn't let anything happen to me. S.A. wailed. Why are you praising her? She's my daughter. Temison stepped closer to me and whispered something that made my blood run cold. She told me everything about her plan, Alero. She wanted you gone from day one. The inspector stepped in. S.A., you will answer for your crimes. Selling your stepchild, orchestrating kidnapping, this is serious. Baba shook his head in disbelief. Why would you do this to my daughter? Essay tried to speak, but I interrupted. I want the full truth. She broke down. Ever since she was little, I wanted Temison to have everything I gave her. And Alero, she was too perfect, too smart, I wanted to humiliate her, delay her dreams. I never thought it would go this far. Her confession hung in the air like poison. Neighbors whispered. The inspector shook his head. I hope this serves as a lesson to anyone thinking they can destroy someone's life for selfish reasons. But Essay's last words before the police took her away made everyone gasp. You think you're done, Alero, but someone else is still watching. The compound was silent. Baba sank onto the ground, exhausted. Auntie hugged Temison. I stayed apart, absorbing everything that had happened. For years I had been waiting for freedom. For years I had been patient. Now I had it. Baba looked at me with tears in his eyes. I failed you, Alero. I let her control everything. I shook my head. No, Baba, you couldn't have stopped her. Only I could survive this, only I could face it and come out alive. Temison came over, timid. I want to be better. I'll never let her control me again or anyone else. I nodded slowly. You need to choose who you are, Temison, not who she wanted you to be. But even as peace seemed to settle, Essay's warning echoed in my ears. Someone else is still watching. I stepped into my room, finally alone. Blue gown folded neatly on my bed. I picked it up, feeling the weight of what it represented. Pain, fear, survival, triumph. For the first time, I didn't feel powerless. I had faced her, Essay. I had survived. I had saved Temison. And I realized something shocking. I wasn't the same girl who had waited for years. I was stronger, smarter, ready for anything. Baba knocked softly on my door. I'm proud of you, my daughter. I smiled faintly. Not yet proud, Baba, not yet, but we're getting there. Outside the window, a shadow flickered, someone watching. I didn't know who. But I knew my fight wasn't completely over. That shadow outside my window refused to move. I grabbed a flashlight and peered into the dark. A figure stepped forward, tall, calm, and familiar. It was Inspector Onahi. You're not completely safe yet, he said. I frowned. What do you mean? Essay is in custody. The kidnapper is gone. He shook his head. There's always someone pulling strings behind the scenes, someone who didn't like your survival story. My stomach twisted. I thought my nightmare was over. Apparently, it was only evolving. Before I could ask more, his phone rang. And the voice on the line made my blood run cold. She survived, she must die. Baba held me close, whispering, Who would still want you gone? I shook my head. I don't know, but someone powerful. The inspector frowned, checking his notes. They knew Essay was careless. Someone inside her circle must have noticed. You were marked for death from birth. I thought of Temison. The fear for her surged. I realized then surviving wasn't enough. I had to fight back. Essay's warning replayed in my head. Someone else is still watching. And now I understood. She hadn't just been wicked. She had been a pawn in a bigger game. A car pulled up outside, tinted black windows. And someone stepped out. I didn't recognize the person, but their eyes held death. I refused to cower. Years of waiting, humiliation, and fear had taught me one thing: power is earned. I followed the figure inside the car. Inside, I found a man in a dark suit, eyes calculating. You're Alero, he asked. Yes, who are you? He smirked. You're lucky I'm here. It didn't tell you everything, did she? I shook my head. He leaned closer. You want revenge, right? You want justice? I nodded. Yes. He handed me a file. It contained every secret, every payment, every lie Essay had orchestrated. And are the people still watching me? I clenched my fists. It was time to end this. But as I flipped through the papers, a note slipped out. Be careful, Temison is closer to danger than you think. S.A. was in prison. Temison was safe for now. Baba looked relieved. But I wasn't done. I called S.A. She answered, trembling. Alayra, what do you want? I smiled coldly. Justice, and you're going to watch it unfold. I handed everything to the police and investigators. Her friends, her secret contacts, everyone complicit in the plan, were exposed. Essie screamed, realizing her empire of lies was crumbling. Temison watched quietly, holding my hand. I'm glad you're back, she whispered. I nodded. Not just back, I'm stronger than ever. Essay's last words were venomous. You think this is the end, it's only the beginning. Weeks later, the house was quiet. Essay's schemes were public knowledge. Baba apologized every day. Temison and I walked into our new future together. No more waiting. No more fear. I looked at the blue gown folded neatly in my closet. It wasn't a trap anymore. It was a symbol of survival. A stranger once told me, power isn't given, Alero. It's taken. And now I had taken it all, freedom, justice, respect, and my future. I glanced at Temison. Let's make sure no one ever controls us again. She smiled. Together. And for the first time in my life I knew. I was no longer the girl who waited. I was Alero, the girl who survived, struck back and won. A shadow passed outside the window, watching. And I smiled. Let them come, I'm ready.